Just a quick video about extension tubes for wedding photography rather than using macro lenses. Something I've found is quite useful is to use an extension tube. So 50mm 1.8 you can use an extension tube on. What this does is just allows you to get closer. Best way to think about it is this tube literally puts a spacer between the body of your camera and the lens and allows you physically to get closer to your subject. That's the best way to think about it. Now you'll find when you look at macro lenses, and all it is no glass in an extension tube, it is just a spacer. Don't confuse it with the teleconverter. So this can be put on the 70 to 200 I use it on, 24 to 105 sometimes, and the 50mm 1:8. Just put that back on. Same as normal. Find the red dot. There you go. So that lives on the 50mm, and that really makes that a 50mm macro lens. But it's a 50mm macro lens that is also a 1.8 aperture. So it means I can use the 50mm f2 in the evening, but it also means I can turn it into a macro lens. The other great thing about putting it on the image stabilized lens is you've got an image stabilized more macro lens. And when I say more macro lens, don't expect these to be in the same league as macro lenses, because you've got more going on optically with a macro lens. You will see a lot of photographers using macro lenses, portrait lenses. A lot of the professional photographers know that the construction of the macro lens is superb. So optically they tend to be brilliant. The 100mm 2.8 macro L series lens is very good, and I can recommend that lens. But with wedding photography, you try not to take too much equipment. Let me just turn that flash off in the background. Just about to go to a wedding, so this is my typical setup. And as I say, the macro lens just spaces off from your body and allows you to physically get closer. You can literally, if I was taking a photo of the end of this meter, I can get that close now. You can use it to take pictures of the rings. You can just be creative with any of the things on the table. So yeah, it's well worth buying a little spacer extension tube. And then you don't optically need to change the lenses. Just by putting the spacer, you're not optically changing anything. You're just changing the distance between the camera body and the lens. A lot of people put on lenses in front of their front lens element. I've done that in the past. You'll find you've got to spend a lot of money to optically get the same performance out of your lens if you do that. Nothing wrong with using them, but as I say, Kenko do a set that you can buy and take a look at that. Canon do theirs, a bit more expensive, but I've just found that the 12mm tends to work well with all these lenses and gets me exactly where I want, just that little bit closer. Okay, so it's well worth having a go with an extension tube.